What's up everyone? Nick, the wife Melly, and it is another stunning day in Harbour Island. You can't see the beach from here, but you can see how not windy and blue skies there is. And I don't know what we're gonna get into today, but probably gonna show you more Harbour Island, what there is to do today. They have horses that you can ride on the beach here, so I think we might go do that, which would be really cool. I think y'all will enjoy seeing that. But to start, we're gonna go find a coffee shop, get a little breakfast, a little coffee action, and yeah, and of course we're gonna take you along to show you what there is to do at Harbour Island, to show you what the coffee shops are, which ones are good, which ones are bad, and all that good stuff. So come along with us. This morning we're going to a little different coffee shop than yesterday. Yesterday we went to Coco's, which is the one at Valentines. Today we're gonna try one called Bahamas Coffee Roasters. We're gonna see if it's any good, and y'all are gonna come with us to see as well. Bahamas Coffee Roasters is more on the north side of the island, and so to get there you have to go past Valentine's, past the commercial dock in that area where all the restaurants are, and up into more of that kind of local Bahamian part of the island. We made it to the coffee house, and as you can see, this one is not quite as bougie as the Coco Coffee House that we were at yesterday. It's kind of more just in a corner of a building, but do not let that fool you. The coffee was fantastic. The food was amazing. I got this cinnamon roll that was extremely good. Not quite like Flo's here on Treasure, but extremely good. Melly, I believe, got Eggs Benedict, and it was all absolutely fantastic. And as I was sitting here, gave me a chance to look over some of my YouTube statistics. And first, I want to thank you guys. For the past 2 months, I've been in a period of pretty significant growth here on YouTube. So I just want to remind you guys that if you do like this kind of videos, if you like the Bahamas and the boating and all that stuff, please do subscribe, like the video, and comment down below what you want to see. It really helps me grow this channel and lets me know that you guys do like the videos that I am making. But we had our breakfast, we had our coffee. Now it's time to get back over to the house. All right, what'd you think about Bahamas Coffee Roasters?
I love it. It's very like different to the coffee shop we went yesterday.
Very different.
It's more like
Bahamian,
more kind of like homemade breakfast.
Yeah, it feels like it belongs in the Bahamas. The other one feels like it belongs in downtown Miami.
It was good though. The one that we went yesterday, it was delicious.
No, they're both very good.
Yes.
I think from my personal taste, this one, Bahamas Coffee Roasters, much better because of the atmosphere, the people. It feels like it belongs in the Bahamas, not in America. It's a little more down home. I think the people who go there are a little less snobby. What do you think?
I love both though.
Yeah, so
I can pick.
Highly recommend Bahamas Coffee Roasters if you come here. Let's get back to the house and do something. Ooh, the daily housekeeper is at the house right now getting things cleaned up, doing laundry, dishes, all that good stuff. And so Melly and I are getting out of the house to give her space to work and taking a quick walk. And so these are the properties where the house is on. And if you walk to the end of the road here, it goes to the water and then takes a turn. And we've never been down this way, so we're gonna take y'all on a little walk with us, show you the sights and sounds of Harbour Island that are not by loud gas golf cart, that are by foot, and see if we can't find anything cool. So first, look at this view at the end of the street. Absolutely stunning, and I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of these stunning views, so come along. In our first little stop along the walk, we found this little flat with a bunch of turtles and starfish. It's awesome.
Oh no.
There's one turtle there. I think we scared it. There's another one over there. There's a starfish right here. Another starfish right there. We're about 3 minutes into this walk and it's already becoming pretty entertaining, so it should be a good one. There's a little bit of history for y'all. For y'all who don't know, a lot of the empty land around the Bahamas is what they call crown lands, which is land owned by the government. And the Bahamas will grant that land to individuals who either need the land, to petition for it, who want to build a development, whatever it might be. And a lot of that is in the form of these 99-year leases where, you know, there's steps along the way you have to meet if you want to purchase the land straight out. And I guess this piece of land right here, where that sign was crown land back in the day that was granted to that individual on the sign. And it's called crown land because the Bahamas used to be under English rule, so under rule of the crown. And so, pretty cool. Oh my God, actually look at this. So this empty land where that sign was is the empty land to the White Lodge, which looks like a beautiful house. Pretty cool. This road's gorgeous. I'm glad that we're walking down it. What do you think so far?
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, look at this view. Oh, Harbour Island. I think I've said it before, but definitely different than Treasure. I still prefer the Treasure and the feel of the Abacos, but there is no getting around that this is a extremely naturally gorgeous island. This is just one of the large grand estates that we passed on our walk, and on an island with this much money and this much history, there are quite a few of these estates scattered throughout the island. Continuing north on our walk, we came across this wall of license plates right along the street. It was super cool. They had license plates from all different states across the United States and also different countries around the world. Really cool and unique. I've mentioned it a couple times in these videos, but I have an obsession with boats built in the Bahamas, and so when I saw this Spanish well sitting in the storage yard, I had to stop and drool a little bit. The Rock House is definitely one of the better known eateries on the island. There's the menu, and the restaurant is actually on top of us right now. This wood piling that the menu is on actually helps hold up the outdoor deck where you can eat. And the front door to the restaurant is just up those steps, or if you want to drive, you can drive around to the back side of the restaurant. This restaurant is named Divine, and I have it on good authority that they have some of the best sushi that I will ever have in my life, so we are definitely going here in a later video. So this restaurant is called The Landing, and I have actually never eaten here, so I can't speak firsthand about the food or experience there. However, if you look online, this restaurant consistently gets the best reviews of pretty much any restaurant on the island, and so it's definitely something I'm adding to my list to go to next time I'm here on Harbour Island, and I, based off internet reviews, would highly recommend it for any of you guys who are thinking about going to Harbour Island. Just a Bahamian traffic jam with a tractor pulling a giant boat trailer through the extremely small streets of Harbour Island. This is the commercial dock here on Harbour Island. When you fly into North Eleuthera Airport, which is the nearest airport, you have to take a ferry from North Eleuthera over to Harbour Island. And so unless your house is on the water and has a dock, this is where the ferry is going to drop you off at this commercial dock. And then when it's time to leave the island, you come back to this commercial dock, and there's always several ferries running back and forth from North Eleuthera to Harbour Island. Here is a quick look at the view from the end of the commercial dock. Like much of Harbour Island, you get an amazing view of the bay that sits in between the island and North Eleuthera. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I really have a soft spot for Bahamian built boats, and Harbour Island, being next to Spanish Wells, has quite a few of these Spanish Well skiffs just littered throughout the island, and so when I saw this one in extremely good condition sitting up on the beach, I had to go take a look. Hey. I need that Spanish Wells. I have a thing for Bahamian built boats, and I think the Spanish Wells is going to be the next to be added to the collection. Do you want it?
I want it.
Oh, it's not a want, it's a need. This is the beautiful sign that greets you when you come off of the commercial dock onto the island. Continuing on our walk, Melly and I decided to head inland a little bit, and we came across this beautiful Anglican church. And Melly and I, we are religious, we're Catholic, but being Christian, we really enjoy to sing different churches from the different Christian sects. And so this one was really cool. It was beautiful. It was very simple, but that's how most of them are here in the Bahamas. The interior was simple but beautiful with exposed wooden rafters, and really cool to see this. Our next find was the Harbour Island police station, and I noticed this island definitely has a little bit more of a police presence than what I'm used to on most Bahamian islands, but That's probably a good thing on an island with this much money and this much traffic. They definitely need it. And across the street, they had this, what at one point definitely was a beautiful house that is now falling apart. It would be really cool to see someone revive that to its former glory, but in reality, being in the Bahamas, that's probably never gonna happen. This must be the main golf cart and side-by-side repair facility on the island, because throughout this trip, every time we passed this location, it was always extremely busy. This is the Runaway Hill Inn property, and this is one of the more exclusive high-end stays on the island. It's right on the beach. They have a beautiful piece of property that's extremely well manicured, as you can see. A big winding driveway all the way up to the property, and I do believe they have a restaurant that's open to the public. You'd have to double check on that. I'm not 100% positive, but an absolutely beautiful place. Of course, I had to stop and look at this beautiful Dragonfly Boatworks built Spanish Wells that was sitting in that same storage yard. Making our way back to the house and walking by Valentines again, here's a quick look at the part of the Valentines property that has the actual hotel rooms that you can rent on it. What'd you think of the walk, baby? Oof. Long and hilly, so definitely working off the rum drinks and earning my rum drinks later today. So, woof. We're getting back in, gonna go shower, get ready for the day, and then we might try to find a boat. We're not on the schedule here. We're kinda just doing what we want, so we'll find out. And we're locked out. After finally figuring out how to get back into the house, we decided to go over to the Briland Club to grab some lunch. And so I'm gonna show you guys the restaurant and how good it is there. But on the way in, they had this beautiful little Tidal Creek Express boat. Such a cool little boat. The restaurant here at the Briland Club, it's right out on the dock, which I mentioned earlier in the video is kind of like its own little island. And so here it is. The views are absolutely fantastic. You can look at the boats. There's umbrellas over every table to give you some shade. The bar feels kind of Mediterranean almost. It's super cool. I got a burger while Melly got some tuna tacos, and the food was absolutely phenomenal. On the way out, this beautiful Mangusta Oceano came in and was docking over at Romora Bay, and so we had a great view of just watching this boat do its thing from the Briland Club. As a boat lover, I could watch boats dock all day long. It's party time. After lunch, trying to figure out what to do, we finally decided to take the golf carts up to the north end of the island to go hang out at this little beach and sandy flat that they have up there that out of nowhere, there's this one random dead tree sticking up in the middle of this flat. Kind of weird, but it's actually really cool. And they also had, as you're gonna see here in a second, a bunch of random, I'm pretty sure just abandoned boats around there, which is pretty standard for the Bahamas. And I call them abandoned, knowing the Bahamas. They're definitely not abandoned. Someone has them, but it's a pretty cool little place. So we just ended up parking the golf carts at the end of this street that ends right here at the beach. And then we had to kind of climb over these pallets and turned over sailboat to get down to the beach. But once we got down there, it was absolutely stunning with pretty much just pure sandy bottom. Once you get out into the water, you can see that one dead tree sticking up in the distance there, which is quite interesting. But overall, just a really nice place to hang out on a windy day because it is extremely wind protected by the island. And shortly after we pulled up, we were greeted by these two beautiful dogs. No.
Nice. Hi, baby.
We don't know for sure, but we're fairly certain that these two dogs belong to the house at the end of the street that we parked on. They were really well fed. They were really well behaved, friendly dogs, so they clearly were not stray. But this was a very welcome surprise to us down here at the beach because both Melly and I are big time dog lovers.
He wants all the attention. ¿No ves? Dame la patita. Ay. You okay?
Oof, got a couple drone videos of the area done, and we made some friends along the way.
I'm gonna make a shot of me.
Yeah.
With the doggy. Look at us.
Best friends.
Hey.
Hey, buddy. Hey. Yes. We have a friend who's following us out into the water. Stephanie.
What?
Yep. Why not? What? And she'll appreciate it. You can see that the dogs just started following us out as we walked further out into this flat, and this was completely unprompted by us. We weren't encouraging them, we weren't calling them, they just wanted to come hang out. They're pretty curious dogs. As you can see, they were going extremely slow through the water. You know, the black one was a little bit timid, I guess you could say, to going in the water, but quickly followed since the yellow dog just followed us along. You'll see a bunch of our buddies, they found a barge out there, and so they were hanging out on the chairs at the barge and just having a good time. So we're gonna go over there and see what they're doing to hang out a little bit. As you guys can tell by now, these dogs were clearly the star of the show and really made the afternoon for Melly specifically, because she loves dogs more than anything I've ever seen in my life. I think she'd probably choose a dog over me. But they were super friendly, as I said earlier. They were just hanging out around this barge that we were chilling at, walking around, going under it. At one point, one of them even tried to jump up on top of it to hang out a little bit. Super cool, and an unexpected twist to the afternoon, but a very welcomed one. As we were sitting there hanging out, this person came out to the area where we parked the golf carts and went down to the beach right there and just started throwing a ton of bread and everything into the water to feed all the seagulls. And so I swear every seagull in the nearest mile all came to this one little area, and it was super crazy and cool to see at first, but then we all got a little bit nervous because we don't want bird droppings all over our stuff or us. Melly and I decided to veer off from the rest of the group for a little bit and go check out this one standing dead tree in the middle of nowhere on this flat, which looked super out of place, but also super cool. It was a mystery to us how this one tree was even there. Like, obviously it was growing there at some point when this was dry land, and it's now dead because it's covered in salt water all the time. But how did this one tree survive when all the rest of the ones that were inevitably around it are gone, got washed away, fell over, whatever it was? It's just very strange that this one tree is still here. Near that single tree, there was also this that was in the water, and it's what appears to be a root system of a tree that once was there and fell over, and the roots has kind of died and have since been getting weathered by the elements. And pretty cool, and the wood was super smooth. I don't know how long it's been here, but it's clearly been there for quite some time. My absolutely stunning wife posing for a quick picture. And back to the barge to go hang out with our friends a little bit. And as you can see, the dogs are still just having the time of their life. They were just sitting in the water under the barge getting some shade there, and they seem to really take to Melly. We've had enough of the sun for the day, so time to go home, and I think we're gonna stop at the grocery store on the way home to show you guys what that looks like. This is the main grocery store on the island. They call it the Piggly Wiggly, and I don't know this for a fact, but I definitely do not think it's associated with the Piggly Wiggly in the States, but it's a pretty well-stocked little island market. Made it out of the grocery store?
Yes.
And now back to the house, and Melly's already munching. Our friends wanted to make one more stop at this Captain Bob's Marketplace, which is just another grocery store on the island. I think this one probably had a little bit higher quality things and was a little bit better stocked than the Piggly Wiggly, but between the two of them, you can pretty much always find what you need. One thing that I will never get tired of at Harbour Island is just driving around. It is such a scenic island with so much to see. I could literally drive around for hours every day and never be bored.
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien right now.
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
I talked about this a lot in the last Harbour Island video that I posted, but this rental house that we had was absolutely phenomenal. It has that beautiful view that you just saw. You can take this beautiful little walk down to the dock where you can keep a boat down there. As you'll see in a second, the house itself is gorgeous. We could not get enough of this rental. I put the information for that rental in the description of that video, and I'm gonna do the same thing for this video as well. Just look at that view. And I just mentioned how nice this rental house was. Here's a quick view of it from the back. Just absolutely beautiful. Has that awesome pool. That balcony you see up top, that's the private balcony for the master suite. Just a really, really cool house. Ready to party?
Yes, let's go.
Time to party with some food because we're starving. For dinner, our initial plan was to head over to Romora Bay to grab some dinner, but when we arrived there, we learned that it was closed for whatever reason this evening, and so we changed plans and ended up going and eating at the restaurant and bar at Valentines, which has extremely good food. Here is a quick look at the little outside dining area at the restaurant. We were lucky and got this big table right on the deck overlooking the marina. Just a really nice ambiance for dinner. I got a little bit chicken Alfredo, which is pretty standard, you know, bar chicken Alfredo, but it really hit the spot tonight. As a boat enthusiast, you already know that I had to go walk the docks before we left to go back to the house, and the marina was fairly empty at this time, but there was still some awesome boats in there. There was a Merritt, there was a Jim Smith, a Weaver, a couple Vikings, a Hargrave, so still some awesome boats to see. This is something that was super cool. On the way back to the house, we went back to that little flat that I showed you all this morning where we saw the sea turtles and decided to grab a flashlight to see if there was anything out there, you know, moving around at nighttime. And it was actually covered with sea turtles, which I assume they were sleeping. I don't really know how sea turtles sleep, but there were probably a dozen of them here, as you can see right here. Just really, really cool. And I'm sure they didn't like us shining a light at them, but we were only there for a couple minutes. And up close to the shoreline, we were also greeted by this little crab. Well, not little, it was a big crab that came by to, I guess, check out the light, check out what was going on. And somebody had cleaned some conch here earlier in the day, so there was some scraps laying around that this crab was feeding on. We also had a big, giant hermit crab come through as well, as long as some other sea turtles. All in all, just a really event-filled 10 minutes we had here seeing different wildlife. We saw a sea urchin, the crabs, the turtles, a couple stingrays. Just a really fun night, but that's about gonna do it for this day. I appreciate y'all watching if you made it this far into the video. If you like this kind of stuff, you like the Bahamas, you like boats, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me. Like this video, comment below what you wanna see, and I will see you guys in the next video.